Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Trials. Tonight, Sunday night, this is going up on Sunday, another uncut and off the cuff review here. And what I'm going to do is the Queen Margot, the famous Queen Margot. I did a 1 minute review on it. It's been probably one of my most watched videos, if I'm honest. This is a more recent bottling, I think, than obviously that one that I did a while ago. And this one has a little badge on it that says World Whiskies Award winner for 2019, category winner. So, yeah, it was like a big news story at the time. It wasn't the best whiskey in the world, but it won its category. And I fairly enjoyed it the last time. It was okay. 8-year-old blend, Scotch, all good, 40%. Nothing too out of the ordinary, apart from the price. I think it was 16. Is it £16 or something? Let's just check that. What we're looking for: Queen Margot price. Retails, wow, for £13.49. £13.49. Ah, feel ripped off. I'm sure I paid about 15 quid for it. Oh well, fair enough. There you go. £13.49 for this. Yep, so I'm just going to do a kind of quick one with this. Go through it, see how I feel about, if I still like it. Obviously, you can see I have gone through most of this bottle again. I can tell you it's been an okay kind of thing so far. It's not exactly a journey, but as a very, very cheap daily sipper or something to put in cocktails or whatever, then it really hits the nail on the head. Let's go to the whiskey cam and pour myself on it. Now, there's probably not much point in talking about the colour. It's probably got colouring in it. It doesn't mention anything about the colouring, chill filtering, so let's just take it as read that it is coloured and also chill filtered, which is a shame. But yeah, your standard kind of golden honey colour. Sits up on the glass a little bit with the legs. So, not too bad. But let's get straight into it. So, the nose. Not massive amounts going on. I remember the last time I said that, and it happened to me with this bottle as well. So when I first opened it, I got a real blast of kind of raisins. But gradually, the more you kind of opened it, the more air was in the bottle and the more it just kind of went down. The more that kind of raisin thing just disappeared for me. It kind of feels, I don't know, I don't want to say like I can smell the colouring, but that flatness that coloured and chill filtered malts tend to get, that flat profile. It's a bit like that. It's quite fresh, quite floral. Yep, definitely some kind of floral notes going on there. Can't quite put my finger on it yet. It's more like that, when you go into the garden and it's just kind of some flowers are starting to come out in the spring, and it's a hint of pear. Definitely getting some stewed fruits, but faintly. It's nothing about the nose on this is going to be punchy or really huge. It's kind of subtle and dulled down. Yeah, I'm a bit appley there. Yep, there are some red fruits, but all in all, a fairly dulled down kind of nose.
The palate.
What does it taste like? Well, it's 40%, so it's never going to be a mouth bender or anything. Um, I quite like this sometimes as a starter dram. It brings my palate back down to earth because quite often if you're into whiskey, you tend to reach for the amazing ones. So you're grabbing, the 20-year-old this and 21-year-old that and cast strength this, and your palate becomes kind of acclimatized to that. And if you drink a lot of cast strength stuff, and I have been fairly recently drinking a fair bit of that, it your palate can kind of acclimatize to that, and then the sort of 40%ers, 46%ers are kind of like not quite hitting the spot. So I quite like to start my first dram being just a more normal one, as it were. Kind of, it makes sure that you know where the root is, and when you drink an exceptional one, you're like, oh wow, I get it. That's exceptional. Um, so the palate on this is quite nice, quite sweet. Light oak. There's a bit of sort of baking spice, some icing sugar. I don't get massive sherry on this at all, but there is sweetness there. There is some light caramels, nothing deep, like you might expect in like more heavily sherried malts. But in general, it's so pleasant. I mean, it's such an easy drinker. You don't mind putting this in other stuff, cocktails, like I said, but it's perfectly acceptable on its own. And for what did I say? £13.49. Surely that's wrong. Surely that's like a smaller bottle or something. It was dated 2019, so maybe it's gone up a little bit. I'm pretty sure I paid like 15 quid for this. But even still, 15 quid. You'd buy this all day. Perfect daily sipper. Good way to start off the night. A good introduction to whiskey for people, I think. Moving on,
The echo. Echo. Echo.
as you would expect with a 40%er and something that is chill filtered and probably coloured, the echo, or what well, let's talk about the general mouth feels okay. It's a little bit light, not particularly oily. The echo that kind of comes back, there's a sweetness, there's a light oak, maybe a bit of citrus in there, but it's quite short. Doesn't last for too long in your mouth before you're like, I need to take another sip to get the tastes again, which is fine, which is kind of what you'd expect really from this kind of price range, the non-chill filter, like I said, and the colouring. But yeah, it's quite a pleasant little tipple for the price. So that is always a consideration. That's something that is a very important factor. So my experience with the Queen Margot has been another positive one, I have to say. I think they've kind of nailed it in terms of that price point, the kind of whiskey that it is, but it's still, in my mind, I'd rather buy a bottle of that than White Mackay or Grouse or any of these other kind of blends. Although I think this is a blended malt, blended Scotch whiskey, blended and bottled in Scotland. Doesn't actually say it's a blended malt, so I'm guessing there's grain in there as well. So yeah, uh, very good, and for 15 quid, an absolute bargain. So I think, without further ado, I shall say that you should go out and buy one because
Respect my authority!
you have to respect my authority in this matter. I've had it twice now. It is reasonably priced, reasonably tasty, and as a sort of daily sipper to bring your palate back down to earth, especially if you're one of these people that is well into whiskey, then yeah, I think it's good to bring your palate back down to earth a little bit. Deal with something like this before you go back to your amazing malts again and spoil your palate. So, yes, I think that's it. Without further ado, I shall give you guys a high five. Woohoo! And see you in the next one.